Good morning to you, good morning. It's Wednesday. I don't know, it's about 8 o'clock and is it the 3rd of July? I never really, such things are not a worry anymore. Making a start. I am getting some clarity in this garden. Yeah, lots of weeds to come out. That is how many I've pulled this morning. The weeds seem to have grown 3 foot in 10 days. It's quite an impressive growth, and yeah, still a way to go yet. But I've pulled out about 4 barrow loads. What I'm going to do now, it's a reasonable hour, is get some machinery going as well. But isn't it a joy to find clusters of roses like that? That's an absolute joy. And this gorgeous rose here. What we have got growing, we've got marigolds, which is good. We have got, that's actually a walnut tree. The squirrels here, they plant things and they forget where they put them. While we're at it, we'll just take that marigold seed head off. There we are, we'll spread some marigold seeds, that's all good. What did I want to show you? There was something in my mind. There's a bit of geranium going on over there, and there's weeds and parsnips and strawberries which sort of roasted in the heat. I've allowed these radish to come up to the hope was they'd have some flowers and some seed, and that will allow me to grow some more radish. And the beans, of course, they're going to give me a reasonable feed in a few days' time, now that I've watered them. Potatoes all sort of ready for lifting, but there's no need to lift them, they can stay there until I want to use them. And yeah, we've started doing some grass cutting. I always call this bindweed. I don't know if that's the proper name for it, but it sort of gets everywhere here. And you take some out and there's seemingly always more to replace it. But this morning we were woken at 7 o'clock. I wasn't woken, I was already out here working. Folk busily doing a neighbour's roof. They really have got stuck into that. They're doing a grand job. Not everyone was entirely happy that they started at 7, but that's life, the job's got to be done. This wonderful lavender. If I hold that to the lens, then you can smell it. Well, maybe not. Yes, that smells lovely. I don't know why, both of these plants, I don't know why, I suppose the way the sun comes round and the way the wind seems to blow with these trees sort of there, it's sort of odd the way that both of those plants are both laying over the way they are. But a delight, a delight. Right, what am I going to do? I'm going to empty that wheelbarrow, I'm going to deadhead the roses, I'm going to carry on, and let's see if we can't turn this back into a beautiful, beautiful garden. These I'm very pleased with. Don't know the proper Latin name for them, I always call them love lies bleeding. They will produce a beautiful flower that will hang down. While we're here, we'll just have that weed out. It's all an ongoing process. Well, good evening to you, good evening. It's been moderately hot today, so I've been watering the garden, I've been doing all sorts of things, but there's a pretty big job that I need to do that involves digging out and laying a spot-on flat concrete floor in this space here. Now, the floor is comprised of compacted mud and what's best described as, well, stuff, or I suppose it's rubble really, isn't it? Makes it interesting trying to break it out. Wasting your time with a spade, you do need the mattock, but we're making progress. But everything around here is a sort of mix between building work and archaeology, so let's turn the camera off and go and show you some things or three things that I found. God, I'm all hot and sweaty. You know, it's fun when the sweat drips off the end of your nose, isn't it? Okay, well, this came out of the excavation, and I got a bucket of water and a paintbrush, and I cleaned it as best I could. And while I was doing that, I heard a voice shouting hello at me, and I looked up, and there was two people standing at my gate. Both of them I know fairly well, and you know, we exchanged pleasantries, and I held this up and said, look what I've just found. And I'll say the young man, I guess he's 10 years younger than me, he explained to me that this is a fossilised sponge, you know, a sea sponge. Yeah, so if it's a fossil, that means it's, I don't know, a million years old, possibly, I don't know. I'm sure someone cleverer than me will explain exactly how old it is before something turns into a hard fossil like that. But there we are, a fossilised sea sponge. Then I found about 5-6 inches down in the dirt, and an archaeologist would tell you what that means, I don't know, this piece of pottery. And I washed and brushed it, and then about 5 minutes later I found this piece of pottery. And if we, can I do this one-handed? If we look, those two pieces once were part of the same pot, and they fit. I won't say, well, yes, perfectly they fit. So there's a funny thing. How old is that? As I say, it was several inches down in the dirt in the bottom of my barn. So there we are. Is it building work? Is it archaeology? Well, it's a mixture of the two, really. Okay, well, I'm going to make tea, and I'm going to find a box to keep my archaeological finds in, and then I'm going to drink tea.